Hi, I'm James the Light Guy, and today we're going to take a look at a completely unbranded mystery light. So first, opening the box, we get an off-road light, a bracket, and a couple of bolts and nuts. Let's get the box out of the way and zoom in. Let's take a look at the mounting hardware that came with it. So we have a slotted bracket with some eyelet holes. You'd put the small bolt through this bottom plate, and it's supposed to be kept from turning by these bars, which is a bit of a sloppy fit. Then a nut goes on the other side after it's gone through whatever surface you wanted to mount it to, but it's also poorly made and the nut doesn't exactly fit well. Then you line up the bracket on this light. All right. And put a bolt through the whole assembly and tighten the nut down on the other side. That one fits a little bit better. Well, the nut does, but you'd have to crank down pretty hard to get this bracket to pinch against that light to keep it from weeble wobbling on you. So far not off to a great start. Next, let's take a look at this light assembly itself. Now, it might look like a pretty good light assembly on camera, but what the camera may not show is that this is plastic, not metal. There are these large heat sink fins, but there's no thermal conductivity in this plastic. This is a joke. The listing for this, which I'm not going to share because do not buy this light, says it's 18 watts, which makes those supposed to be 3-watt LED each, so 6 3-watt LEDs. Without any thermal transfer, those things would overheat and roast in a matter of minutes, I would believe. But we'll take it apart and see how it functions. The wires here, nothing positive or negative I can speak of, just bog standard wire that goes into a rubber grommet at the back. Oh, actually, I take it back. That's not a rubber grommet. That is part of the plastic housing made to look like a rubber grommet. And not sure if you can see, but it is a loose fit. Again, we'll take a look at that when we pop it open. Before we do that, let's grab our power supply and turn this thing on. All right, we have our light hooked up to our power supply. We'll turn that on and get it up to 14.4 volts, roughly. There we go. And you can see that we are drawing about 0.3 amps. So that tells us that total wattage is about just under 1/3 of 14.5. So maybe like 4 watts for this light. So those are clearly not even 1-watt LEDs. It does look pretty on camera, but that's because it is incredibly focused by this reflector housing. After any amount of distance, it just still stays at that little point. All right, let's take it apart and see what's going on inside. Disconnect it from the power, move that off to the side. Grab our little screwdriver kit. We're going to use a number 1 Phillips, which is this one. And there are just 4 screws on this front face. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, front face, just plastic, no seal or anything. The lens also just appears to be acrylic, no gasket or seal there. Reflector is held in with 2 more Phillips. Standard plastic with chrome plating on it. That's actually not bad, decent enough reflector housing. And now the chipset. Oh, there you go. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, there you go. You can see right through. There's no seal on the back of the housing either in there. See if I can line that up again. There you go. All the light. All right, we just have our 2 wires directly bonded to the circuit board. Let's zoom in a little bit. And you can see that it does specify it's supposed to be an 18-watt light, which is clearly a lie. And we have 2 300-ohm resistors on the board there. And that is it. The back of the board does have an aluminum substrate, but that's all the heat sinking we get. There's not even a thermal compound in here, which wouldn't help anyway because it's just plastic. But that's it. This is a garbage light that I hope no one else buys. In any case, that's all I have for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, consider liking the video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel for future videos. If you really want to support the channel more, you can join our Patreon and become a supporter at patreon.com/JamesTheLightGuy. And until next time, I'm James the Light Guy.